Hello, and welcome back to the Waistline Podcast. This is your host, Syatt, and it's been a long time because last week we had the swap cast with myself, so I haven't done a dedicated Waistline in a week, and or I guess 2 weeks now, and I miss doing it. So if you haven't checked out last week's episode, audio wise, nothing's changed. But go check it out. I had a sports and exercise psychologist on. We did a full session together. Really very helpful because I have a lot of mental blocks and issues when it comes to eating and my goals and motivations to lose weight. So I really can't thank Alex enough for doing that. It was a great talk. For our video viewers, you might have noticed that I have switched, and if you haven't, this is why it doesn't look like there was an episode last week. I have moved all past and future episodes of the podcast from the Waistline Podcast YouTube back to my original personal YouTube page, youtube.com/Syatt. So go check it out there, and thank you for bearing with me while I, test some things out. I thought I wanted a separate YouTube page, and that goes against all of my advice to anyone who I help start their own podcast. So I'm learning I need to take my own advice. But I'm doing well weight loss wise. I was down another 2 pounds last week, down to 86 pounds. Not 86 pounds. That would be a little bit skinny. Even for my height, 86 pounds is a little skinny. But I do have an aunt who is, God, I think she must be under 5 foot, and I think she's like 88 pounds. And she is so tiny that you could put her in your pocket. Shout out to Aunt Ida, who will never, ever, ever hear this because she doesn't even use internet. God love Aunt Ida. But anyways, it was a a challenging 2 weeks for me weight loss wise. I did lose 2 pounds a week, and I know a lot of people get annoyed with me when I say I only lost 2 pounds. Losing 2 pounds is great. I'd like to equate it to going to Vegas, and even if I just stayed the same, that's like pushing, and anything's better than gaining right now. So I completely understand that, but the reality of the situation that I have is when I start actually caring about my weight, and God, I have an itchy nose. Sorry, I was trying to avoid doing that, but it is driving me nuts. Much like the slow down of my weight loss. Look at me, just transitioning like a pro. When I start caring about weight loss, I get competitive with myself. And I know that that's not a healthy thing to do, but I'm not perfect. When I see the numbers go down, I want to continue seeing them go down. And I've never hit 100 pounds lost before, and I'm getting closer and closer. So the closer I get, the more, I guess the only word to use is obsessed I get about it. I'm still eating what I'm supposed to eat, and I'm working out, but it happens. Everyone who's ever lost weight before knows that, especially the bigger you are at the beginning, your weight loss, or at least for me, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but every time I've started to lose weight, the bigger I was, I would lose a big chunk at the beginning. I think literally on the first day that I started dieting, I lost like 5 pounds. And I trust me, I would give almost anything to lose 5 pounds a day healthily. Not I don't want to start doing meth or anything, but it starts slowing down and goes to 3 or 4 pounds a week, and then the last 2 weeks was stuck around 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, which I know is fine, but getting back to that 100-pound down number, I have it in my head that by my birthday in late July, I would like to have hit that goal, And the last 2 weeks, since it started slowing down a little bit more, it took me from definitely hitting it to maybe just hitting it literally on my birthday. And it kind of bummed me out a little bit because in my head, I want to enjoy some treats on my birthday, but I don't want, especially, like, let's say, for example, I just hit 100 pounds down. I don't want to go below 100 pounds down once I hit it. So I'm really trying to be as good as possible as I can up until then, but I am happy. The day that this comes out is one of my weigh-in days, as you know, and I'm already lower than I was last week, which usually doesn't happen. The last couple weeks, I would be a pound. Like when I would wake up the morning on my weigh-in, I'd be like roughly, probably, I'd be lucky to be the same as I was the week before, probably a pound heavier, and then I would throughout the day, you burn calories, you work out, I would lose 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. So to be already lower than I was last week on today's Monday is encouraging. And I was stricter this week, so it shows you, because I got comfortable with my weight loss and the calories, and I wasn't going crazy, but on Tuesdays I would have an earned meal, because people get mad when you say cheat meal. And sometimes I would have leftovers. I would go into the second day on Wednesday, and that's not good. So the fact that I can see me being more stringent with myself, and I'm still eating what I'm supposed to eat, the calorie-wise, some people get mad at me. I don't. My brother is a exercise and nutrition, I guess you can use the word expert. He's amazing at what he does and very, very well known and popular. He told me to be between 1,800 to 2,000 calories. I know that I probably would lose a little bit of weight doing that, but that's too much. I understand that you want to do it healthily, so I'm usually between 1,300 and 1,500 calories a day, which on my FitnessPal says I'm supposed to be at 1,500. So I know it's a little bit lower than some people would like, but for me, honestly, some days I have problems getting to even 1,500. So I feel good about the path that I'm on. I do have an interesting couple weeks coming up, because I am going to Austin and then Milwaukee. If you're in the Austin area, I will be doing stand-up at the Romo Room Friday, June 11th and Saturday, June 12th. I believe that's right. Yeah. At the Romo Room with Agostino Zoida. So I would love to see you there. But as I've said before, travel has always been really food-centric for me. I love looking up what to get. I love planning where I'm going to go. I love eating in hotels. And Austin is well known for barbecue, and they also have something called queso, which is a cheese. I guess it might be a dip, but it's not like nacho, like movie. Even though I love movie theater nachos and that fake cheese dip, I have no idea what it is, but it's delicious. It's like real cheese, and they put spicy ground beef and avocado. It's amazing. And I went to a place called Chewy's the last time I was there a few years ago, and they give you fresh chips, and it's couldn't be better. And I saw it when I was in Denver, surprisingly, and I was going to go and decided against it because I was like, okay, I'll just get it in Austin. And now that I'm getting closer and closer to 100 pounds down, I'm considering not getting it because, A, it's going to be on the weekend, which is usually the time that I start dialing in my eating a little bit in preparation for the Tuesday weigh-in. So I haven't made a decision yet, but I do have to be good because actually I'm going straight from, excuse me, a hiccup. I'm going straight from Austin to Milwaukee. Some of you may know that I consulted out there for 2 months after leaving LA, and I am going back to work with the same person, and I'll be there for 8 days. Don't worry, you'll have full episodes. I'll just do what I did in Denver, and I'll cut in my weight from the previous week. And the issue about being gone for 8 days in Milwaukee is the just eating, not having a kitchen. But the nice part about the hotel I'm staying at is I do have a kitchen. And it's a very generous, nice thing that he does. But the guy that I work for, we went out most nights to eat. I don't think we'll go out all 7 nights that I'm there, but we'll probably go out 4 to 5 if I had to guess. Who knows? But we went out. It's funny. I'm gonna be in the suburbs of Milwaukee, and there weren't a lot of restaurant options. So we went to this one Italian place probably 20 times. And the guy that I work for is a great tipper, like 50% as a minimum. And they started to like us, obviously, because we went there so much and he tipped so nicely. And so they would give us like homemade, like when I say, I was going to say tiramisu. When I say tiramisu, I don't even mean like a bakery, what is it called? A baker? I was going to say bakery chef, but that didn't sound right. Like, I'm not even saying a professional baker made it. The mother of the sons who took it over from the father. So it's like 2 generations at least. This woman is in her 80s or 90s. She's probably been making tiramisu for at least double how long I've been alive. And I don't even like coffee, but it is outrageously good. And they would give us that for free and just take amazing care of us. And I have to this is going to be a big test for me, because I know that there's a lot of people who say that I'm on a fat diet with the OMAD and that it's not sustainable. And these 8 days I'll be gone are going to be a big test for me. And I'm going to be able to prove to myself that not only is it what I'm doing sustainable, but I can do it when I can do it when I have to interact with other people. The criticism that I get is that when I start dating or working with other people, that it's not going to be something I can maintain. And I'm fully aware that I will some days have to eat more than one meal a day, but that's fine as long as the main thing about my diet or my eating plan is that I'm sticking to calories. So we'll see what happens. If I come back and I gained weight, then they might be right, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to come down. I think I'm going to be able to lose weight, being gone for almost 2 weeks, and I'm encouraged and hopeful that things will go as well as I need them to go. Very quickly, before we get into this week's actually amazing episode, I wanted to just let you know this show is sponsored by Manscaped. And whether you have a dad in your life, you're a father, or you have anyone in your life with testicles, Manscaped is here to help. And especially don't forget, Father's Day is coming up in a couple weeks. Your dad, your original home, needs your help. And the best way to help him is with Manscaped. So go to manscaped.com, look at all of their amazing products, and use code Syatt, SYATT, and you're going to get 20% off plus free shipping. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com using code Syatt. Okay, so my guest this week his name is Robert, but he goes by Bud, and he has a very intense story. He lost over 200 pounds, or has lost over 200 pounds, is doing great, looks great, is doing jiu-jitsu all the time, and unfortunately, he has some health issues. that he will get into during this. But before he lost the 200 pounds, he actually ended up physically, like legally passing away twice. And they were able to bring him back. And now he's at a place where his liver is severely compromised. And this is, if anyone out there, either in Texas or somewhere else in the country, has connections with anybody who can, you'll hear in the episode the issues that he's having, but he's having issues getting a liver transplant, which he very desperately needs. He has a wife and kids who he loves and love him, and we want to keep Robert, aka Bud, aka my hug partner. We want to keep him around and healthy for years and decades to come. And so if anyone out there can help, either reach out to me or directly to Bud at his Instagram. If you want to just go check it out, he has some great content up there just about weight loss journeys in general. But if you want to contact him, his Instagram is Bud, BUD_G_TX. He's a Texas man through and through, a family man, very funny, very nice. And I am so sorry that he's going through what he's going through, but he is an inspiration to me. He's not a down person at all. Very happy. We laughed. He's a great guy to talk to. And I hope that if you are on a weight loss journey, that this inspires you to keep going. And if you haven't started yet, I'm sorry that Bud's story might be motivation. I'm not sorry that it might be motivation. I'm sorry that he's going through what he's going through. But if anything good can come out of it, I hope it motivates you as much as it motivates me to keep going or to continue. Motivates you to start your weight loss journey, so that what happened to Bud doesn't happen to you or someone in your life. I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you especially to Bud for being so open and honest and coming on to the Waistline Podcast. So Bud, take it away. I'm so happy to have you on this week's Waistline Podcast. It's great to have you on. It's great. Thank you very much for reaching out. I know you actually reached out last time I did these, and unfortunately the time filled up pretty quickly. So you were actually my first email when I knew I was doing these again. I was like, I gotta get Robert in.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, of course, no. Thank you for jumping in. So you have a very interesting story that you sent to me in an email, and I guess I just kind of want to start. So you look great right now. You don't look like I wouldn't ever call you big. Honestly, you're like my goal body.
I wish. No, it's good from here up.
Hey, that's a good place to be good from. It's better than not being good anywhere. I'm good with my pinkies, okay.
Right. Yeah, my wife makes fun of me because now I can see like the bones in my hands and veins in my arms. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but
no, you're a sharp looking dude. That's awesome.
She teases me now, and I have chicken legs. She tells me because my ankles are tiny. That's genetic.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, someone's always gonna tease you about something. That's funny.
Yeah.
But you mentioned in your email that you were big from a very young age.
Yes, sir.
So, is it like a family thing that you think? I know you said that you were unfortunately on some steroid, not like the good steroids, but like some like medical steroids. So when did you start getting big?
Yeah, well, I'd say it was probably around second grade or so, third grade. So it's about 7-8 years old. I was actually really scrawny as a kid, as a toddler, and growing up before then, kindergarten, first grade. I was real scrawny, tiny arms, everything. And I had not a lot, but I had some health issues, allergies, hay fever, lung issues, things like that. And that's what I got put on the steroids for. And I think that kind of, it made me start to gain weight. And just at an early age, a lot of laziness set in, and I liked eating, and it just snowballed from there and really didn't stop ever. It's still a battle to this day.
It's terrible actually, and he lost the weight, but I remember that I had a family member who I don't think he was as young. Maybe I don't know. It's tough to think back, but he was young, and he got put on some steroids for something. And I remember like my mom had to sit my brother and I down. I was like, okay, so and so is gonna be a little bit bigger than you remember, but it's because he's on steroids. And like if I'm maybe it's different from what you were on, but if I remember correctly, it was like you just never felt hungry. I mean, never felt full. Is that what it is, or
At
does
that
it?
point, honestly, I was so young. I don't think I really had the wherewithal to notice, the difference.
Okay.
I guess I was hungry and I ate, and just when I ate, I would eat junk food, and a lot of people get to an adult and they kind of try and say, they blame it on like steroids or something to that effect. And
Oh,
I
I'll
think
blame it on
they're generally,
everything.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, oh, trust me, I've been there, and it definitely started it, but I wasn't helping myself, and I wasn't grabbing fruits and veggies. I was grabbing cans of Chef Boyardee ravioli,
Oh
or
yeah, of course.
things of that sort. Vienna sausages, and just processed junk food that tasted good to me. At a second grade, but definitely wasn't the best. And like I said, it was essentially my fault. I did it to myself, but that was
Oh
I think that was kind of the what started it, I guess.
yeah, no. I mean, we're all. That's the thing. First, there definitely are medical issues that I'm sure can make people gain weight. But the thing that I've really learned through all this is it like eating is such an emotional thing that it's just I could eat chicken breast and broccoli and survive. I would live, but it like just the pro. And it's I always used to think when I was a kid, and I was a chubby kid, but I would hear like kids whose like parents didn't let them have soda or candy, and I'm like, God, how the parents are so mean. But now looking back, I like like I don't have any kids, but it kind of almost makes sense. Excuse me, to just like not give it to them, and then if they never get into those bad habits, it's like yeah, like for me, people always say, oh, I love fruit. I'm like, yeah, not. I mean, it tastes fine, I guess, but I'm never gonna have fruit for dessert and be like, oh, what? How delicious is this?
Right.
Um, but so you said you started getting big around 7 or 8.
Mhm.
When did you know that you were big? Like what age did it start becoming a problem?
Not very long after that, probably about fifth grade or so, and it was definitely before, junior high or middle school, before sixth grade. So I'd say fourth or fifth. Noticed that my pants didn't fit well. Started seeing that magic word husky in my
Oh yeah,
sizing
oh
when
yeah.
when my mom would take me to Walmart, or back then Kmart, and buy me some clothes to play in. I had got husky jeans and husky pants, and I remember asking her, well, "What's husky?" And "Oh, it's a little looser." Or I'm the youngest of three, and I'm the only boy, so I'm my mom's baby and always will be.
Right, yeah.
And so she would try and soften it, the blow, I guess, not to say, well, you're getting big. um,
Right, yeah.
but yeah, it's just it was probably, I mean, it was pretty early. It was around that time I noticed, pictures or videos. I'd have the bottom of my shirt would kind of be above the bottom of my stomach, and
Oh
I'd see
yeah.
that little roll on the bottom sticking out, and things of that sort. It's just I kind of started to notice, but I guess at the time I didn't really put two and two together. It's like that was just how it was. I remember I
Right.
went on diets and tried to clean up, and I tried to talk my parents into, hey, if I lose so much amount of weight, can you buy me this? Or kind of like set up my own reward program. But it
Right.
didn't do anything at that age. I don't know what nutrition is, or you know anything like that. But yeah, that kind of started. I noticed and kind of started trying to diet right about their fourth or fifth grade or so.
Wow, yeah, that was probably I remember going on Atkins around that time because my parents were on it, or my dad was on it. I don't know if my mom was, but like Atkins to me, which if anyone out there is young and doesn't know, it's basically keto. but like I remember having my meals would be I would put pepperoni and shredded cheese on a plate and microwave it, and then I would have peanuts. And I was like,
Mm.
yeah, it's low carb, but it's no way to lose weight.
Right.
So okay, so let's see. So you guys start getting bigger. Um, I noticed in here that you mentioned taking like a weight loss supplement at a certain point. When did that come
Yeah.
in?
That was after I graduated. That was after high school. I was already an adult at that point. In fact, I think I'd already had two kids. So I was about 24, 25, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And what it was, I guess edit it out if you need to. I don't know about
N-
clearances, but it was Trim Spa. I don't know if
No,
you
you
remember
can say
that.
it. Fuck Trim
Okay.
Spa.
Yeah, I don't even
Piece
think
of
they're in
shit.
existence anymore.
I took Prilosine.
Okay, I remember that. I took some of those too, but
Oh yeah.
and this was at the time, when every supplement company had the ad in any magazine, 6-week challenge, send in your pictures and you can win prizes. Well, I did. I mean, I didn't win overall, I guess, but I did win. I became a finalist. I was in the top 10 in my like age group. And
How much weight
uh,
did you lose?
I want to say at the time it was like, I think in the 6 weeks I lost, I think it was like 30, 35 pounds, somewhere around there.
Wow. And
Um,
what do you? Because I took Prilosine. I think I literally took it twice, and it made me
mm.
feel like shit. So I just stopped taking it. Um, but were you like also dieting, or was it
Oh yeah,
literally okay? All right. So
yeah, no,
it wasn't just like take it and lose weight.
no, not at all. In fact, actually, it was a 12-week contest. Is what it was. I apologize. But no, at that time, you see, all through high school, from whenever I first got my car, I got my first job at 13. I had a fake ID that said I was older just so I could work, so I could be a busboy. And so I saved up my money and I bought my first car at 15 before I could even drive it. And I mean, since that point, I've kind of always had a job. So the first thing that I would do all the time at the beginning of the year, or like when I did my taxes and got my little couple $100 back, I would go in and get a gym membership and I would pay for it in full.
Oh
And
wow.
I mean, and at the time all through high school, I went, religiously 5 days a week, 5 o'clock in the morning. Half the time I beat the guy there that opened up the gym. And
Dang. Okay.
yeah, I'd work out before school and then go to school and do that. So I was kind of accustomed to it. It just, for whatever reason, weight never came off whenever I did that. And I wasn't eating crap either. I was eating really good food and drinking nothing but water. But the best I ever did really was stay level. I just didn't gain weight, but I never really lost weight.
Okay.
And what the trim spot was, it had some root from the rainforest, is what they claimed. Hoodia, I think is what it was called, or something similar to that. But it was some kind of like an appetite suppressant, and it I guess it physically actually expanded because there was a warning about drinking plenty of water right after you take it, so it doesn't get stuck like in your throat, I guess,
Oh
or in
god.
your esophagus. Can you imagine if it just blew up?
Yeah. Oh my god. That's quite a way to go.
Yeah, but no, I took that was one or two pills like three times a day, and then I worked out at the gym in the morning. Worked a regular 9 to 5 job, and then at night I was delivering pizzas because I had two, an infant and a toddler son.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, I was
That's
doing
quite
doing that in
a
between.
temptation being around a. Did you ever steal a slice?
Oh yes, I mean, yeah. Every I mean, obviously not from a delivery, but sometimes we get a mistake or something, and they would just set it in our like display. It wasn't a slice shop, but we had like a heater, that kept it warm. So they would just put it on a pan and just put it in there for whoever wanted it. Oh,
Okay.
I'd hear that metal hit the grate, and I'd be the first one. As long as it didn't have vegetables on it, I was
Oh
grabbing me at least a slice.
God, we're gonna be best friends. I hate. My mom used to try to get when we were kids. Would get pepperoni because we like pepperoni, and then
Mm.
she'd be half pepperoni. She'd try to get half veggie, but it would infect the pizza. Like the juices or whatever would get into my side of the pizza. So I was like, no, you can't get. You'd have to get like your own small from now on. And
That's like
yeah, No,
we were separated at birth or something because I'm the exact same way. I mean, I was like, well,
no.
you can just pick it out. Like, why put it in the first place? It's gonna mess
Yeah.
it up,
Oh, it's gonna ruin it. Jesus.
right?
There's a friend of mine, a guy I worked with once who we went out to dinner a bunch, and he would get pepperoni and onion, and it's not the worst. I can deal with the onion, but it's not. I don't want it on there. But he was my boss, so I had to be like, yeah, sure. Whatever you say. But yeah, that was terrible. So okay, so with the trim spa, did you feel? Cause like I said, I felt like I never took speed or like crack or cocaine, but like I just felt I always felt like I was like pumped up, but like not in a good way. Like
Right, kind of wired.
yeah, how that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
How is that how it made you feel too, or?
The trim spa actually didn't. Yeah, I think their big uh, aim or goal was more the appetite suppressant.
Okay.
Because I didn't feel pepped up, wired, nothing like that. And I've taken the gambit. The only supplement I never took was that Ally, the one that because it caused like loose stool, and that just scared me too much.
What did it cause?
Loose stool and
Oh yeah,
like
that's not
explosive
good.
diarrhea back then. So
Yeah.
I was
Oh
like,
my god.
yeah, I can't chance
Yeah.
that.
What are you gonna do? Lose weight and then shit your pants? That's not
Exactly.
no one needs that in their life. Okay.
Exactly. But like Xenadrine and Ripped Fuel. I mean, those are the ones I remember from way back when. I mean, that's when they had ephedra in, and I took
Right.
those, so I know the feeling you're talking about. But no, Trim Spa never did that.
Okay.
And just
Okay.
go
So
ahead.
you
I'm
said
sorry.
it's okay. So you said um you got. I guess you didn't. But how much did you lose at that point?
Well, at that point, the 12 weeks, I had lost like the 35 pounds,
Got it.
whatever
Okay.
whatever it was, and it was enough of a visual difference, and that I got picked as a top 10 finalist. Now the thing is, once that happened, we had like another, I want to say it's probably 3 months or so, like to keep going, and then they were going to have a final judging in the Bahamas. We actually me and my wife got an all expense paid trip to Bahamas.
Okay.
Got spending money. I mean, we stayed at an all inclusive resort on them. The only thing that we had to pay for was passports and and the taxes obviously on the price, the value of the prizes. But that was it. So I think total, I want to say from when I started the program to whenever I like weighed in the Bahamas, I want to say I lost probably about 70-ish pounds, somewhere around there. I mean, it's so long ago now, it's hard to remember. The kid I had that was 2 at the time is 17 now, and he's going to
Oh
be
wow.
graduating next year. So it's been a while. It's hard to remember the exact numbers, but I think it was close to 70 pounds or so.
And were you skinny at that point? Were you at your goal, or like you still had some?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, still probably needed to lose another 30, 40, maybe even 50 pounds. Because I was big for so long, I always had the big gut and it hung. It's called an apron or a panis, but I had the big hangover,
Yeah.
my waist. And so it looks kind of strange. And I got the picture somewhere, but like you could see in the center, like that mass went down, but it was hard to notice a difference on the bottom because it doesn't come up because my skin was so stretched for so long.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's why I'm saying now, I look decent from here up because I still have a lot of excess skin that I want to address. I not have to. Definitely happier, how I am now, but I would like to aesthetically look pleasing.
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's really. I had Obese to Beast on, and he wears it with pride. But I gotta be honest, man. I'm probably at least 100 pounds away from where I will be like skinny. So I have a little bit of time before this like becomes an issue, but it's something that it's almost when I get negative about it, it's like, oh, why am I even gonna lose weight? It's not gonna help with girls. I'll be less weight, but I'll still look weird without my shirt on. So it's a big it's a tough thing to have to deal with. But okay. So did you win the contest or no?
Unfortunately, no, I didn't. I was kind of slapped with the reality that it wasn't really a contest so much as they're looking for the next spokesman. So I went
Okay.
in thinking it was a legit contest, and I guess it was legit, but not necessarily, just a straight contest. A
Right.
lot more was figured into, the look, the things of that sort, because there was different groups, different brackets, age brackets, male and female both. And, there were some that maybe have lost like 20 pounds from beginning to end. And they won
Wow.
first place, where there was one in particular, I remember, that had lost over 100 pounds, and she didn't because the other one was more marketable.
Oh, that
So
stinks.
things of that sort. But like I said, there's some sour grapes for a while. I was salty a little bit, but then I was like, at that point I was good. I was in a good, like I still consider it a starting point. I can continue on from there. But like you said earlier, eating's emotional. I am a very, very big emotional eater. So when that saltiness started kind of getting lazy on the diet, lazy on the gym, and again, it just snowballed. And before I knew it, I was back up to what I was and over. you know,
Wow. So what was your biggest?
the biggest, I don't even know for sure, because the biggest I was weighed was uh, in the hospital. I had weighed 425. And
Wow.
that was whenever it got really, really serious, because that was the second time that I medically died. And that's whenever they found out that was my weight. So
Wow.
I
So
don't know. Before then, I could have been more. My scale only went up to, I think, 350, and I had maxed that out so long before. So I don't even really know, truly.
right. Wow. Okay. So you mentioned that you medically died twice. That's wild.
That's
So
crazy.
take me through the first time.
Okay, well, the first time we were already here in Dallas, the Dallas area. Moved up here to work for State Farm because I was in insurance from 16 years old or so. By that time, I was early 30s. And one Saturday, I was just going to work, just like anything was fine, everything was fine, normal. Got to my car, went to unlock it, and just instantly had to vomit. But when I did, it was just blood. There was
Jeez.
nothing in there but blood. And so I actually physically told myself, not even mentally, I said, that's strange. So I went back up to my apartment and woke up my wife because it was an early shift. And I told her, I was like, hey, I just threw up some blood by my car. So I'm going to call into work and I'm going to go to the urgent care right quick. That's obviously not normal.
Right.
So I got to the urgent care. They started running some tests, did check some levels, and they sent me straight to the hospital. Didn't believe me at first that I drove myself because they said I was already in need of a transfusion.
Oh
Um,
my God.
got to the hospital. They did some digging, found out that what happened was I was bleeding internally. And
But from what? What happened?
well, because of being fat for so long, fat encased my liver, and I developed, now it's called fatty liver disease.
Right.
At the time, it was called NASH. It's non-alcoholic, something HIPPO, something or other. But it progressed to cirrhosis. So I actually have cirrhosis of the liver, and didn't even get the fun of drinking all the alcohol, just
Right.
eating all the
Yeah.
pizza.
Oh
So,
no.
um, but with it being all scarred and it being caked, the fat being caked on my liver, when the blood goes through your liver, it kind of ran into stops and bumps. It didn't have a whole lot of area to go through. So it was creating a bottleneck, just like in traffic when you go to, 4 lanes down to 2 lanes.
Right.
All of that blood was building up pressure on the backside. And what happened was it went to its weakest link, which was in my esophagus. And it
Oh
was bursting
no.
veins in my esophagus. So it would come up and then just bleed right back into my gut.
That's terrible.
And yeah, and I had no idea, no pain, no weirdness, nothing up until just right before. Well, they went in to try and stop it. That was the first time I died. It wasn't nothing major, I guess, coded or what have you. I don't know for sure. It
That's
wasn't
pretty major.
there.
I mean, that
Well, but I
sounds.
mean,
Yeah.
when compared to the second one, it was.
Okay. I'll
I mean,
I'll take your word for it.
yeah, I
Did they
came
have
out
to
of this.
paddle you back to life?
I don't think so because I didn't have any burns. I think they probably with compressions or something. They didn't really get into the details. I didn't really ask because all this was hitting me at once. I just found out. I was throwing up blood. A couple hours before that, and then they tell me I died, but I'm back now.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I didn't really ask a whole lot of details, but did that, and I had to go in. probably 4 or 5 times for different. They call them bandings. What they would do is they would go down my throat, and where I had a varices, which is the burst vein, they would basically like had a tool that was kind of like a suction, and it would suction that little part into it, and then they put almost a little rubber band around it, and that
Oh
would
my
seal it off.
God.
And then eventually the rubber band would fall off, and it'd go out in my waist. And did that 3 or 4 times. Thought I was, starting to feel good. Few, shoot, I think it's probably 6 months later or so, 8 months later. I was at work still at State Farm, and got a little nauseous. Skipped breakfast that morning, so I was thinking, okay, maybe it's because I'm hungry. Got up, went to the restroom because I felt nauseous, like I was gonna vomit, and same thing, just blood. But this time there was so much more. I mean,
Oh
I
no.
I couldn't stop to like leave the bathroom, and I knew, what that was a sign. So I go down the hall, and about halfway down the hallway, I started getting really dizzy and like bumping into the walls. Like I couldn't even really hold myself up. I barely made it into a little conference room side area that they had. And I basically just hollered for one of my friends that I worked with. I just hollered her name because I knew she was right at the break. Like she was just right around the corner. And she went in, called my manager. Um, it was like the whole TV. I mean, I was laid out on a chair in the office. Uh, they had to call the ambulance because I started passing out,
Oh
and they
no.
couldn't keep me awake. The paramedic was doing like they do on TVs, rubbing my chest with his fist and telling, stay with me, Robert, just stay awake. And they're asking me questions, just random questions, just to keep my brain going.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, but got to the hospital. They already knew what was coming. They knew, the situation. Rushed me into surgery. And again, it was kind of I guess it was too late technically at that point. So I did die, and they brought me back again. Again, no pedals, I guess, pumping blood and I don't know what all else. But that one was a bigger deal because they ended up having to put me in a coma, a medically induced coma for 2 or 3 days.
Dang. Why?
Uh, that way, my systems could concentrate, I guess, on staying alive. That way, it wouldn't tax my system or anything else. I wouldn't panic and overload anything. It kept my heart rate at a regular level, and so they could check. But yeah, that was scary because
Yeah.
I just went to bed and I woke up and I actually had an argument with my wife because she was telling me that it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was arguing with her. No, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
No, it's Tuesday. I was like, no, it's not. It's Saturday. I was like, I know what day it is. And the nurse she goes, your wife's right. And at that point, I just woke up. So I didn't even know what had happened. And then that's when they
Oh
started to explain to me
no.
what happened. So, but
Okay.
thankfully, that's the last time that I died. And
Yeah, hopefully it's the last one.
yeah,
Oh
now I
my.
can tell people that one place doesn't want me and the other's afraid I'll take over.
Ah, that's funny. Okay, so I mean, I was gonna ask what made you lose the weight finally, but I mean, it sounds like it's probably this experience, but uh, it didn't have like. So what changed between the first and the second death that made
Uh,
you like work on it?
I guess really, really grasping the severity. Something like that happens, you're like, okay, well, that was just a fluke. You know, it could have happened. Someone gets a heart attack doesn't necessarily mean they're going to clean up their diet, start exercising. They're like, what's the chances of it happening again? Well, it
Right.
happened again to me, and it happened worse. So at that point, as I was recovering, my doctor that kind of just got stuck with me. Honestly, he just happened to be the doctor that was there that day, and he became my actual primary care doctor for like the next 4 or 5 years until he just recently retired. But he went in and told me, the severity of the situation, and told me that I have to lose weight. That where I was at, that my only chance for survival ultimately, or for a while, is to get a transplant, to get a liver transplant. My
Oh
liver's too
no.
far. Yeah, it's too far gone. That now I'm just slowly dying, basically. But I told him, I'm in trouble. I've done every diet under the sun. I mean, no cheats, nothing. Something's going on. My thyroid is fine. I've gotten stuff checked before. I just can't. It didn't seem to lose weight for whatever reason. Um, so he kind of told me, well, you're going to have bariatric surgery. And of course, it was my say so, but he really said, this isn't something it's not, I guess, like completely a choice. I can't remember the exact words he used. He's like, I'm really hoping that you do this and not try and use it on your own. He goes, not that you can't, but just by the time you do, it may be too far gone.
Right.
So that is what ultimately led to me losing the weight. And I don't credit just the surgery. A lot of people say, that's the easy way out. Let me tell you, that's complete BS.
No, you still have to like eat right and work out and wow.
Yeah.
So did you get a transplant?
No, that's a whole another can of worms. But the state I'm at right now, essentially the hospital that I was going through told me that I didn't have enough money.
Oh no.
Have insurance. I had insurance at the time, really good insurance. But what they were concerned with is they said, we don't think you'll be able to afford the anti-rejection medication afterwards. And so it'll be a wasted organ. And so, yeah, that's a trip whenever you don't even realize that that's an option.
That's
When you
terrible.
you get a letter in the mail saying you don't have enough money to, your life's not worth it. It's kind of the way.
So the insurance doesn't cover that medication?
No, it's not the insurance. I mean, no, the insurance covers the medication, but it was the board or whatever of the hospital. It was purely their opinion.
So are you trying to get it to a different hospital now, or?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm kind of juggling whether just live out, however long I'm going to, or go through this whole thing, because it's a lot. I mean, it takes a toll on you, just mainly mentally and emotionally. Jumping through all the hoops, all the red tape, and the evaluations and everything else. It's like I don't know if I can set myself up again for failure.
That's terrible.
Right now, I don't feel like I'm in a place where I can take that. Maybe in the future, yeah. And I've gotten a couple recommendations of some other hospitals here and transplant teams that are really good.
Can we write letters to them or something?
I don't think so. And then now that was 30 years ago or so, I think.
Wow,
So it's kind of a moot point.
The whole fucking insurance hospital. It's like John Q, like that movie. I don't know if you saw that year. It's like
with Denzel.
God, yeah. God damn it, man. That's that. My hat's off to you, man. I know that it's hard. It must be hard to like just like you're like, what are you talking about? Like, man, that's just terrible. So how is your liver doing now? Is it by losing weight? Have you been able to? I know we're skipping ahead a little bit, but you lost some weight. And people can see that. Is your liver doing okay?
No. It slowed down the rate that it was degrading. So I guess that's good. That's definitely a good. But because it was over 30-ish years that I was overweight, probably 20 to 25 of those in the morbidly obese category. It just wrecked my liver too bad that they said that now, even if it sheds some of the fat, that it's too scarred up, and it's basically half dead, kind of like me. So
no.
So a full transplant is my only ticket out, I guess, other than the inevitable. But so I just kind of live day to day and try, and that's why right now if you ever look at like my IG, I try and post. I do as much jiu-jitsu as I can, trying to eat right. I have a little gym built out in my garage, getting my kids involved. We're starting our program. In fact, today actually they're starting them on a routine, weightlifting routine for the summer.
That's awesome. I hope I totally understand where you're coming from, man. I know going through all that and having them shit on you for no reason must be unimaginable, but I hope I hope that you're able to find somebody, like, if anybody who's watching or listening works for a hospital or knows something, uh that, because I hope that you try again, because I mean, do you still have insurance?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, it's a different one now. I do have through socialized medicine, forgive me, I'm texting. I don't know. I know what it's called down here, but I
No,
don't know if
that's
that's the actual
fine.
name of it. But Obamacare, is like through the health insurance market is who I have now. So I do have insurance now, but it's not as good as what I had, because a side, I guess, effect of having these issues is, because my liver was so messed up, so it's kind of, I guess, rewinding. In order to keep me from continuously popping veins and bleeding internally, not only did I have to hurry and get a quick bariatric surgery, or not quick, but as soon as possible. But they did what's called a TIPS procedure, it's a transinterjugular shunt, I think. But they went through my jugular and basically put like a straw in my liver, so it allows blood just to flow through, so that way it won't back up. Well, the drawback with that is that blood goes through unfiltered, and one of the first stops after the liver is the brain. So I'm basically getting toxic blood up to my brain, and I have a hepatic encephalopathy, which is cognitive issues. At times, I forget very basic stuff. Memories, I've had memories just erased. Uh,
That's
going
terrible, man.
places, movies I've watched, stuff with the kids. I'll sit there, and when it first happened, I'd argue with them for probably half an hour. I have never seen this movie. We have never been there, whatever. And a few times saw pictures or where I posted on Facebook about it, and I was like, wow, like it doesn't even re-trigger the memory; it's just gone. So,
Fuck yeah, I that's
so that's a bit of a drawback, but
yeah, that's quite a, that's a shitty thing. I mean, you're a strong dude, man, and I I hope that, God, Mick. I mean, what about, I know you're probably a Texan through and through, but speaking of socialized medicine, have you thought about going to Canada or England and trying to get on their, like, socialized medicine list? And
it's crossed my mind. Honestly, I don't really have a way of doing it. I have three teenagers. My wife here. I can't pick all of us up and move to another country. I can't just go on my own because, one, I understand. Like I said, I haven't really done much research, but just in hearing about it, I think you have to have lived there for a certain amount of time, before you can qualify for some things like that. So it's just logistically, I don't really see it as a possibility. Um, but I'm kind of open to anything right now. I just, instead of dreading everything and feeling sorry for myself and everything, I try and stay happy and try and kind of push what kind of positivity I can. I'm not perfect. I'm an asshole, to be
yeah,
honest with you, a
no,
lot
you're
of the
not.
times, and those closest to me they'll vouch for it too. Yeah, I can definitely be one. And but yeah, it's if I think if I'm not putting out all kinds of negativity or feeling sorry for myself, if nothing else, it'll make the time that I have left that much better. You
Yeah,
know,
you're
so
that's an amazing. So you were able to lose, you said, over 200 pounds. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. I got it's right around 200 or so. I kind of balloon about 10 or 15 pounds depending on what I'm eating, or if I'm eating clean, or if I've gone on a bender or something. That still
Right.
happens.
Hey, no,
Still,
hey, no one's perfect, but I mean, that's, so you had the surgery, but do you still? Because I spoke with a woman who, it'll come out eventually, but I think I'm gonna put yours out pretty soon. Um, she had it, and the surgery, and like she now she has, like, she can't eat as much as she, like, would want, or, oh, that's okay, that's okay. Sorry, the cleaning person
all
just
right,
got here.
all right, you're good.
But how is that affected? Do you still have to, like, limit what you eat and drink and all that?
Yeah, yeah. I still have restrictions. I can still feel it. And I believe I was trying to figure it out the other day, and I think I'm coming up on 6 years. I think in July, June or July will be, I believe, 6 years since I actually had the surgery. And to this day, I still have restrictions. Now those can go away. A lot of people you see that have, depending on what kind of bariatric surgery they have. I had what's called a VSG, or a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. So they basically took out the majority of my stomach and kind of made me a new one. Well, that can stretch over time. So a lot of bariatric patients, they tell you, no more, like you can't do carbonated beverages anymore. You don't do over like 6 ounces of food, like period, not just 6 ounces of protein, like 6 ounces of food. And some listen, some don't. And I'm in the middle. There was
Right.
probably about 3 or 4 years solid where I didn't touch one carbonated beverage. Now I do sometimes. I try and stick to mostly water, especially since I've jumped on the carnivore diet. But I still can feel a restriction. I can't eat a whole, like say, a 12-ounce steak or a 16-ounce steak. I can't. Even if I don't touch another side, anything else, the most I can generally get is about 8 ounces.
Wow. So you just mentioned you're on the carnivore diet.
Yeah, I started it about 3 weeks ago, I believe.
Okay, I'm about to start it tomorrow. Actually,
Awesome.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for a week, and then I'm gonna do keto for a week. I'm gonna do it as like little experiments.
I
How do
heard
you
you mention that on prior episodes.
right?
The one thing, and I'm sure the comment section probably got blown up. I don't read the comments because I love
No, me
you no
either.
matter what anyone says. But well, like with keto, to get into that state of ketosis, sometimes it can take 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
So if
That's
that's
why.
truly what you're going for, what I would try, and of course it's up to you. I know it's guessing, but I like to, I guess, experiment with my diets and everything, and I've tried about everything there is under the sun. But generally, it'd probably be easier for you to be keto first and then go into carnivore,
Oh, I was
because
thinking it'd be better to just start with carnivore, and then that sort of gets you started for
well,
keto.
see, my big thing is because if you're going to start restricting yourself, I would probably go with something that has less restrictions. You can still get some vegetables. They still have like the zero net grain bread, or
Right.
things of that sort that you can still kind of you know almost trick yourself with. Let's be real, they're not. It's not Wonder
Right. Yeah.
Bread,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's still bread, and I think it would. A lot of people have a hard time just straight cutting it off at nothing but meat and water and vitamins.
So you can't put in
So
you can't use like hot sauce or anything.
uh, it depends. That's something that I'm kind of still learning on and getting onto. Some are very laid back when you talk to them about the keto or the carnivore diet. Excuse me. And they're kind of like, look, if you need something to like to get you through to keep going, that's fine. Just on the next one, just jump right back to it. Don't go overboard. Don't think, oh well, if I do a carnivore breakfast, the rest of the day I can do whatever I want. you know some
Right.
heard of do like a teaspoon of honey in the mornings, or raw honey or something like that. But there's some out there, oh my gosh, tell you, jump in a couple Facebook groups, and there's some that only eat their meats raw,
Oh.
and like organ meats, they'll just blend them up and just like a slurry and eat them. Ugh, I can't do that.
No, no.
that's a
I was just gonna have chicken and steak for a week and maybe some eggs. Ugh,
Yeah,
God.
I mean, that's pretty much what I do. I mean, I'll do fish a little bit, chicken a little bit, but mostly just beef and eggs. That's kind of what I've been doing.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Um. So So you've been able to? How long did it take you to lose 200 pounds?
It took, I mean, it's been 5 years now, or close to 6 years that I've lost and maintained. The big initial weight loss was probably within the first 6 months to a year,
Okay.
and then it was just is slowly like everybody else after that. A couple pounds here and there. If I did a pound and a half a week consistently, that's good.
How much did you
And
lose in that first big drop?
I think I want to say in the first 2 months, I think I lost 50 or 60 pounds easily. I want to say within a couple months time, I think I was right about there, right about 50, 60 pounds or something.
Okay.
Maybe
Wow.
even a little more. I'd have to go back and check because it's good to see where you're from, but I try and kind of like I'm past that now. So I
Right.
just I just don't look. It's still up on my IG. It's way back, but
Okay,
but
I'll
I
have
mean,
to go check
at
it
one
out.
point I was even doing like every 2 weeks, like progress pictures and things of that sort. And it's good, especially because whenever if you do something like bariatric surgery, you need a support group, a support system.
Right.
And sometimes a lot of people think, oh, well, yeah, I got a husband at home or a wife at home or, my girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it may be. And the funny thing is, statistically, that's the relationship that ends a lot of the time after someone has a bariatric surgery. And it doesn't matter if
Right.
it's male or female. There's some wedge that comes between them. So I was doing that because on IG and stuff, there's, a big community of
Right.
bariatric patients. And so ones that go in not knowing anything, what does it look like? What do I got to do? What are some recipes? I post that. So I have a lot of recipes. I mean, things on there, weigh-ins, telling what I was doing, what exercises, things of
That's
that
awesome.
sort.
So, for people who are listening, what's your IG?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I'll have to look. Give me a second. I just changed it not too long ago.
Okay.
I apologize. I should have
No,
had
no,
that
no, no,
ready.
no. Don't apologize at all.
It's okay. It's Bud underscore G underscore TX.
Bud underscore G underscore TX. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Robert Bud, that's an amazing story. I wish you all the best. It's I wish I was in Texas. I could come give you a hug, but hopefully I will
Hey,
soon.
Lee, it's open, man. Whenever you're here, definitely hit me up, man. I
I
got a big hug waiting for you,
I
brother.
will. So if there was anybody in a similar situation to you, whether being over 400 pounds or maybe they just are thinking about getting the bariatric surgery, what sort of advice do you have for them?
Definitely don't rush into anything. And I know a lot of times it feels like you're not rushing in because if you're that big, it didn't happen overnight. Chances are it took you
Right.
years to get that big. So you're
Right.
thinking, yeah, I've been doing this for years trying to, not be this big. But the actual surgery, your life changes. I mean, it's a trip. I can't chug beverages anymore. Guys, I mean, water. If I'm super thirsty, I'm having a hard workout. Like I said, I roll jujitsu as much as possible at 10th Planet here in Dallas, North Dallas, 10th Planet, North Dallas, excuse me. Um, but like I have to sip water in between rounds because I can't, even afterwards, I can't chug water. It's weird little things like that you're not used to. I'm not going to be able to do, 2 slices of a good pizza. Halftime, I can't even eat like one New York style slice. Of course, it's Texas. We don't have New York pizza, but
Right.
the bigger, thinner slices, I can't take down a whole one of those. And at first you're
Wow.
like, well, yeah, I don't need to, but it kind of messes with you mentally. So I would say just,
Yeah. Oh, especially
you
after
know,
eating a whole pizza or something.
oh, I
Wait,
used to do that
like,
all the time. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
on my cheat days or if I, the times when I wasn't dieting, I don't know if you remember, Pizza Hut used to have a pizza called the Big New Yorker.
I don't, but
Uh,
I ate plenty of
oh,
it.
Trump was on the damn commercial.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't
And
remember
yeah,
that
because
one.
it was, New York's my city and everything. And it was kind of like their New York style, it's a little bit bigger than their large and it was
I
a thinner
remember. I
crust.
remember Domino's had Brooklyn style, so it's something
They
similar to
still
that.
do, or at least here
Okay.
they do.
Okay.
I still see them. But yes, I mean, it's just, you just, I'm sorry, I completely lost my train of thought
No,
where I
no,
was
no,
even
no.
going with the
So
big
you used to eat the
pizza.
whole.
But
You used to eat the
yeah,
whole pizza.
yes.
Now you
Oh, yeah.
can't.
So your life changes, every little
Right.
thing. So I would say just don't rush into it. Definitely take a step outside, kind of outside yourself if you're able to, and kind of look at the whole situation. And quite honestly, it's like if anybody has any questions or anything, they can hit me up. I don't know everything, but I've been through it, and I love helping people. I can help
Yeah. No.
as much as possible. So
You know a lot. And so it's Bud underscore G underscore TX.
yes, sir.
Uh, thank you so much. I'll call you now. I'll call you Bud.
That's fine.
Thank you so much, Bud. It
Yes,
was
sir.
great talking to you, and I appreciate all the time you spent with me.
All right, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and you're doing great. I want to tell you before I forget and log off of this. I love what you're doing. I listen every
Oh
Tuesday
well, thank you.
when it comes out.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Bud, for coming on to the episode. after the episode, I made a video for one of his sons. Thank you to his son and his entire family for lending Bud to me that day. Robert, a.k.a. my hug buddy. I can't wait to come and give you a hug in Texas. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see him when I'm in Austin, but I will see him soon. And I honestly, genuinely hope that we're able to find either, whether it's through one of our listeners or just by yourself, I hope you're able to get your liver transplant and be as healthy as possible and continue living and being with your family. So thank you so much for being honest and open to coming onto the podcast. Thank you, listeners and viewers, for watching and listening. Don't forget, the YouTube has switched from the Waistline Podcast to the my original page, just youtube.com/Syatt. And that's it. I will be back next week with a brand new episode of the Waistline Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will talk to you next Tuesday. I love you guys. Bye.